Hi, I'm Lee Shojin from Sally's Book Club. Before we dive into today's topic, let's answer a listener question. Earlier, a listener asked in the comments how to quickly find our book titles. The method is to search for the book title plus Sally's Book Club in the search bar on the Himalaya app homepage. For example, if you want to listen to The Metamorphosis, you can type The Metamorphosis Sally's Book Club to find our episode faster. Now, back on track, next week we'll use 6 books to chat about life's flavors. What is life? Over 80 years ago, writer Lao She used the dilemmas of petty clerks to pose this question. Is life just about going through the motions? The book we're covering on Monday is Lao She's novel Divorce. This book has 2 main characters, one called Big Brother Jean and another called Old Lee. Big Brother Zhang's whole life is about earnestly going through the motions. Pulling strings and hosting banquets are his life's core. He does things not based on right or wrong, but on personal favors, even if it means twisting the truth. Old Lee, on the other hand, is a typical intellectual, unwilling to sink into mediocrity, but his greatest skill isn't action, it's dreaming. And he ends up compromising. Divorce was published in 1933, marking a turning point in Lao She's writing career. His earlier novels, like The Philosophy of Old Zhang and The Two Horses, were still practice works. Divorce was the mature piece he truly satisfied with. Later, with the emergence of Camel Shangzi, Lao She became a full-time professional writer. In Divorce, Lao She not only depicts the lives of ordinary folks in old Beijing he knew well, but also explores marriage and life with a humorous touch, issues that still trouble us today. The book launching on Tuesday is Liu Yao's Ordinary World. This novel was published in the 1980s. Even before it was finished, it was picked for the Central Radio Station's serial broadcast, airing for half a year with over 300 million listeners. In 2015, after its second TV adaptation, it sparked ongoing heated debates. Writer Jia Pinghua once said that Liu Yao's literature burns like fire, radiating brilliant flames. Ordinary World is set in the 1970s and 80s, centered on a pair of brothers' story, showing the struggles and paths of ordinary people back then. The book is titled Ordinary World because Liu Yao believed most people's lives might be spent in ordinary monotony. However, everyone's life is a world of its own. Even the most ordinary person must fight for their world's existence. As long as spring doesn't die, life doesn't die. So, how much energy can ordinary folks' efforts hold? On Tuesday, we'll step into Liu Yao's world together. On Wednesday, the book we bring you is a biography of Tagore. Life should be as brilliant as summer flowers, death as serene as autumn leaves. This line, familiar even to Chinese readers, comes from Tagore's Stray Birds. Maybe I Let It Katori wasn't just a famous poet. He achieved great heights in music, painting, and education too. He founded his own school in his 20s, which later became India's best university. He loved traveling, and his footprints spanned Europe, Asia, and the Americas. He rescued Mahatma Gandhi and met with the fascist leader Mussolini. Mussolini received a knighthood from the British royal family, raised funds for China's anti-Japanese war, and was friends with Einstein. How did Tagore live such an exciting life? What connection do these extraordinary achievements have with his family background and the social environment he grew up in? On Wednesday, we'll interpret Tagore's legendary life. On Thursday, the book is 3 Days to See. I'm sure you're familiar with it, and its author, Helen Keller. Mark Twain praised Helen Keller, saying, "The 19th century had 2 remarkable figures. One was Napoleon, the other was Helen Keller. The former tried to rule the world militarily and failed, while the latter easily moved the world with words." Helen Keller lost her hearing and sight at 19 months old, but she not only learned to read and speak, but also enrolled in Harvard University. She dedicated herself to education and charity for the blind and received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And In this book, you'll not only hear Helen Keller's life story, but also her thoughts on life. In our lives, too many people take life for granted, not cherishing what they have as if it's natural. Yet, being in darkness for so long gave Helen Keller a deeper experience of life. She said, "Perhaps the best way to live is to treat each day as if it were your last." On Friday, we'll relax a bit. The book we're listening to today is The Science of Tasting. Eating is the most ordinary thing in human life. Have you ever wondered why you like some foods and why you dislike others? Why do some people love spicy food to the point of madness, while others can't stand even a little spice? All of these are related to an important sensation in your body. The author of this book on taste, John McQuaid, is a science journalist. He gathered numerous case studies and research findings, interviewing scientists, gourmets, and master chefs worldwide to write this brief history of flavor. Many people's appetite is affected when they face stress, sadness, pain, or anxiety. Whether it's overeating or loss of appetite, we're featuring this book, The Science of Tasting, to tell you that the sweet, sour, bitter, and spicy are all flavors of life. No matter if life has been tough on you, this little kitty always eat well. If one book, The Science of Tasting, still can't satisfy your foodie heart, we've prepared a comprehensive book list for gourmets covering land, sea, and air, from the biological cultivation of foodies, how to eat, Japanese cuisine, to Rang Zanki's The Way of Eating. Click the link at the end to taste all the flavors of life. Finally, on Saturday, let's celebrate the upcoming Mother's Day together. The book launching that day is A Cultural History of Pregnancy. Pregnancy is one of the most unforgettable and important moments in a woman's life. During this period, women undergo significant physical and psychological changes. Moreover, due to differences in era and culture, the status of pregnant women varies greatly. So, what have pregnant women experienced throughout history? And what will the future hold? The answers are all in this book, A Cultural History of Pregnancy. Well, that's all for this episode's editor's recommendation. I'm Li Shuiqing from Himalayas Lectures. I'm Li Shuiqing. See you next week.